top takeaways, if you can, maybe a couple of top takeaways from some of the sessions for today?
Top takeaways, there's still a lot of work to do. I feel an article brewing about the definition of culture and what does that look like. And also, how do we move the needle forward for representation in our times now? I think that was very much like what a lot of the winners talked about, a lot of the work that was talked about, but also how you celebrated some of the people that won, especially London, and how they really build trust. I love that.
And I think on the final panel, they were the leader winners, whether they're agency, media owner, tech. They all had their vision for what the top focus should be.
Absolutely.
And I think talent still kind of carried across, and people was a really big thing.
Absolutely.
Are there any other top focuses for the industry, or do you like that we should be looking at?
I think mine is consistent throughout the whole year, which is hold the line.
Yeah.
We're in a time where, especially, I know your next question is going to be about the election, but we've been in such a year of change. And so it's really about how we hold the line as an industry and continue to consistently do the work. And I think that came across from everybody in that, that what got them to their wins today was that they dug deep, they were consistent, and they held the line in their own businesses and focused it on people over profit.
I do think that there's a big thing of like you want to build on your milestones and build momentum.
Absolutely.
You don't want to go backwards, and I think the IPA census, as we both know, has shown that there is a retention issue.
Absolutely.
And especially among ethnic minorities in the industry, and so we have to make it an attractive place to work.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's especially what Paddy Affleck from Havas was speaking to. Like, we have to empower people.
Absolutely.
And that should be a focus for the industry.
Absolutely, and especially within the the Havas realm, I know Tam and Fox really well, and that's their ethos, that bread and butter. So the fact that ripples through is fantastic.
And I think, do you think it's been maybe not deprioritized after the pandemic years, or in terms of the conversations around inclusion are not what they were, say, last year?
I don't think it's been deprioritized. I think it's what's your actual real understanding. I think, we threw the whole world into a place of education that not everybody was informed in. So 4 years on, it's how has everyone been consistent and really carried on the learnings and the teachings that they learnt then and did that every year. And I think that hasn't always been consistent. So I don't think that it is... we don't know. I think it's a new language, a new practice, and we just have to hold the line to it.
And we did talk about the general election. We're 1 week out. And I personally was fascinated by the panelists, the journalists, and how candid they were and what they sort of foresaw. And obviously every country's political landscape is slightly different. But I'm wondering how you think the general election might impact things in media. What that would look like.
I mean, it very much feels like a look over there moment, that whilst we are perhaps distracted by the election, there is a body of work that we can continue to do. Our government will change, but that's going to take some time and some new infrastructure. This isn't a time for everybody to rest on their laurels and just focus on the election. And I think what came out of that talk in particular was that there's so much disharmony going on in the world, and it's about how we collectively come together. And the power of the people, the power of every individual vote counts. So I think it's for us, every individual person in this media industry, what collective action can we do together to kind of be that change? And I think the election will only spur that on.
And we're now at the halfway point of the year. Can't believe I'm saying that. But what would you like to see more of, less of for the rest of the year?
Do you know what I'd love to see for the rest of the year? Keep the energy up. I think in the middle of the year, I'm really pleased with where we've got to, how I feel, how the industry feels. Feels really intentional. Cannes last week, as much as there is so much about Cannes that could be changed, what was so positive for me was it felt like the most inclusive, most representative, most diverse year that I've been to Cannes now. So it's that energy. Keep that energy up. Keep the conversations up. Spaces like this that have always been having those conversations and really pushed the needle. I'd love to see that come home for the next 6 months.
I think that's a really good note to end on. Thank you so much, Chloe.
My pleasure.
If you like this video, please subscribe. The Media Leader is the UK's leading source of analysis, opinion and data for people who work in advertising and media.